My friends, I'm pretty excited to talk to you today because it's been an interesting 30-ish hours. Glad to see you. Hope you're doing well. This is the second track off the album. Actually, I don't even know that this is off the album, but it must be because it's a song I haven't seen and it looks like it's full length. I am a little excited to talk to you because in the last 30 hours, I drove 500 miles, 520 round trip, and saw Oppenheimer with my family, but many hours away, and be like, this, you know what, this could be a good time to talk about this because the data says that you're patient, and the data also says that you are my age or older, which means you are familiar with things from my time and earlier times. Which I will definitely say, in case you want to check out Oppenheimer, I thought it was a really good movie. I thought it was fantastic. It's 3 hours long, but I did think it was a great movie. But I kind of want to talk about some things in a little more clearness, but not completely clear. So you've definitely heard the distorted audio. You've heard the destructive type of mechanics that happen on the audio that happen on your end. Is this recording? Good. Gotta double check. Before you go on a soliloquy, you gotta make sure the mics are actually recording. I've tried different ways to express this, but I've not used this analogy before. Is that you see reactors reacting to Angelina Jordan videos, and they don't block out the video, and the audio is crystal clear, and there's no problem. To me, the way I see that is looking at someone who is currently smoking a cigarette and going, they don't have cancer. So what you currently see someone do is not at all evidence of diseases that may be coming to them, be it, through the algorithm or whatever, through the back ends. Now, you may be going like, well, what am I solving for? Like, what is it that I'm trying to prevent? Well, I can't tell you the problem. I won't tell you the problem, because if I tell you, I'm telling everybody. And once you start telling people what the problem is, everyone begins solving for that problem. So I have a very clear understanding of the problem. I have a very large data set, 4,000 videos that let me know what the problem is. But because I can't address what the problem is, other than copyright, I also can't really address the solution or how I'm implementing that. That's just how it is. But given that you guys are probably all 45, 50 years and older, you either have had cancer or you probably know someone with cancer. And so the way I'm addressing it is, there's a time where someone gets a scan and something questionable comes in on the scan, and then some physician, oncologist, whoever will be like, that's something we should look into. Maybe we need to biopsy it, maybe we just need to track it, see if it grows. But once these things pop up on the scan, we have to start tracking them, because anything that pops up is indicative of a negative outcome. So there's a lot of things that are popping up on my back end that you cannot see, that are indicative of long run demise. And so, yes, a lot of people that you can click on today who are not doing what I'm doing, and you go, well, what's the problem? It's like, hey, look, you can smoke all day and not have any discoloration on your scans. You can also smoke all day, come up with some discoloration on your scan, and determine for yourself that it's not high risk, I will continue smoking. These are ways of addressing a problem. I see these flags in the back end and go that these flags are indicative of upcoming problems, and then me looking at people from the past, people 3 or 4 years ago that had my issue, seeing what happened to them. It's like basically, tracking life expectancy and health hazards and what happens to you in the long run. And most people that have these problems don't survive. It's 4 or 5 years, 6 years. I'm talking about YouTube. A lot of the people that skirt these issues, they're not 6-year-old channels, they're not 7-year-old channels. They're 2 years old, 1 year old, 3 year old. And yes, you may get a lot of enjoyment on them giving you what you want the way you want it. And for that, it's great. But as far as the survivorship of the channel doesn't last. They pretty much all die out or they pivot. And so I am trying to look at what's happening, given the data we have, and then given what's shown up on the scans, and going, even if we're getting away with it, we will not be getting away with it. It could be 6 months, it could be 18 months. The hammer's gonna fall, and when the hammer falls, it's going to be very harsh. And you'll be given all of a sudden 6 months to live, 12 months to live, or 3 weeks. So that's probably the most detailed way I've ever expressed my theory behind what's going on here. And this is the way it is. So if you want to go listen to the song with some other person, just watching the video, and it sounds crystal clear, hey, I'm not mad at you. A lot of people want that. I want that sometimes. But that is not something I'm going to give to you unless when I do that, there are no spots on the scan, the PET scan. Unless the scan comes up clear, I'm not going to give you that, because you're not going to get the biopsy. I'm going to get it. You're not going to have the invasive surgery. I'm going to have it. And so for me, I don't want to let you guys down, but I'm not going to subject myself to invasive procedures that I don't have to do just to make a portion of you happy. It's a really drawn out analogy, but that's really what's going on. And I can be more specific, but I choose not to be, because all my proprietary things that I figured out, if I tell you, I'm telling the whole world. So I'm trying to be clear enough that you understand what I'm doing, but vague enough that people have to rework my solutions. They can't copy what I'm doing. So I'm not telling you what I'm doing. But they can reverse engineer it. And if they do, good for them. And if they do, I will come clean. But until someone reverse engineers what I'm doing, it's a secret till then. That's the way it is. Here we go. Angelina Jordan, Good in Goodbyes, visualizer. That all said, I'm excited. Hold on, speed check. All right. Her head's like knocking. Okay, hold on. So the entire mix is underwater. Maybe it's gonna immediately transition to it all being clear. DJs do this. You olds, this is what the 20-year-olds do. You bury the entire mix with you cut all the highs and then you turn on the highs for a second. Oh, so not for a second. You switch it like a water valve. There's the valve.
You had me so, didn't listen to my gut, I'm beautiful. Got up in my mental, play me like a fiddle, riddles, but nah, meant no good for me. You're the devil with angel.
Yeah, so for the I'm the Fool song, I said she was buried between the guitar, I don't remember the order, but probably bass, guitar, vocals, drums. She's actually on top of the mix on this one.
Never meant no good for me. You're the devil with angel wings. Behind me like a shadow. My light is shining.
Oh, she's basically rapping. That's rap. She's rapping, y'all.
You're the devil with angel wings. Behind me like a shadow. I'm going up the ladder. Jesus said, I don't do darkness, so you cannot come with me.
Okay, maybe y'all don't know that. That's rap. She's rapping. It's like it's just like, I wouldn't call it mumble, but it's kind of like mumble rap, but stretched out really long.
I don't do darkness, so you cannot come with me. wanna shine like the night sky. Free bird, let it to fly. Yeah, right now is the right time.
That pre-chorus I didn't care for, but the chorus is good.
The right time. Got the skies to leave mine. Oh yeah.
Wow, this mix is really different. On this time, she's much louder, but on this part of the song, the drums are way louder. The drums were the quietest part, and Now I'm the Fool. Or Now I'm the Fool.
It hurts sometimes, the edge of your mind, where comparison will rob you blind.
So get sick of it or what? But what's going on right now? Like right now, let's back up. What's actually happening instrumentally?
The edge of your mind, where comparison will rob you blind. Got you feeling all empty.
It's Angelina on top, bass, drums, and then some scattered guitar. But on certain sections, they are putting the drums above her. This is not at all the hierarchical, so the vertical structure of what we heard in Now I'm the Fool. Completely different style of mixing. The performance is really similar, but the mixing is very, very different.
Comparison will rob you blind. Got you feeling all empty, wondering if you're worthy. It's crazy, cause you are. This were made by design. No mistaking love is on your side. Sometimes you gotta sail way down the darkness so you cannot come with me.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with so far. It's her vocals, then bass, then drums, then guitar. Can I remember that back? It's her vocals, bass, drums, guitar. On Now I'm the Fool, it was bass, guitar, her vocals, drums. The actual layering is very different. The style is extremely similar in what they're playing, but how it's mixed as far as like how you position instruments in the mix and how one thing seems more close to you and far away, very different. Nice.
That's a good right now is the right time. Got the skies to leave.
That's a solid chorus. That's really good. I really like how this one's working. Yeah, so on this section it's changed. It's her voice and then drums and then guitar. Her voice, drums, and sometimes her and the drums were equal, but it's her and drums, bass and guitar. I really like the way this is being done. They're changing the stacking of the sound per section to really like put someone. It's like a spotlight, like old school days, like in the 60s or whatever. 60s, I don't know, man. What comedy shows I've been to, but like when you put a spotlight on somebody and you're bringing attention to them, it's like the mixing is putting a spotlight on something. And in this track, at this moment, the spotlight is on her and the drums, which is not really something we hear from her songs. I really like the mix. Sounds like really fresh. I really like that. Yeah, I mean, hey, quiet you. Someone else will watch you. Yeah, I think the way you mix something can be, well, it can definitely affect the way you hear it, but it can also be reminiscent of an era. So like disco, Right, disco is very drum and bass heavy with like a vocal on the top. Even if the vocals are multiple vocals, so like the Bee Gees or Hearted Glass. I don't recall Hearted Glass disco. Blondie. But the way that was mixed is like super. I like that mix a little bit better. Like the drums, the vocals. You know what's actually happening right now? As I'm thinking, man, aren't 90% of people not even here? It's like, why am I trying to give like a detailed description of something when 90% of the people? It's like teaching a class of 100 people, and 9 people left at the end of the class. And you're like, wow, shit. I believe what I'm saying, but I'm gonna tell y'all 9 people. Anyways, I have an escape hatch. 10 hours of driving. Sorry, 9 hours of driving. A little bit tired, a little bit whatever. I think I should lean into more of not being so concerned. This is probably on the wrong spectrum of that. This is probably me leaning too far into that. But I think, yeah, I think this is the way to lean. Obviously not this. This is not the best. This is probably, like, you gotta lean to being more strict and more tight versus more loose and more organic. You can make a severe argument for being more strict and more tight, but I think it's one of those old situations where people don't know what they're asking for, where they think that being strict and tight will give you the strict and tight creative commentary. I think I need to be tighter, for sure. I need to be more on the ball, but not formulaic. You still need a little bit of wiggle room. Yeah, I should just post this anyways. Why not? The worst thing you can do if I post this, the worst thing you can do is you can not watch it. You can not like it. You can thumbs down it. You can leave a negative comment. And you can tell everybody you know not to watch these videos. It's like, well, if that's the worst negative outcome, I think I probably learned more from trying this than I have a consequence from your biggest negative action. I think that made sense. I'll rewatch it later, maybe. I think that made sense. I have more to gain from my downfall than I had to lose from you reflecting on my downfall. If I'm right, this is a key to freedom. This is a key back to the old days, the old ways. You're my guinea pigs. Anyways, watch average watch time be like, that's a metric we have, average watch time. Oh, sorry. And then also, why am I apologizing to you about metrics I have? Average view duration for a specific video. It would really crack me up if the average view duration was like 30 seconds. Then it's like, well, then who gives a fuck what I'm saying 20 minutes into the video? No one's here. I'm stubbly because like I didn't take a razor on my trip. It is what it is. It be what it be. I'm gone.